taught me this time. Today we're going to talk about death and what death has taught me this time. So we have been up since crazy o'clock. We're live streaming this on the 1st of April. Up since crazy o'clock with about 3 hours sleep. And just want to document yesterday's shenanigans. So on Sundays, we do a digital detox, switch off Sunday. So we switch off all, I switch off all electronic devices. So no phones, no laptops, no anything. Sometimes we even do like no cars, no technology, but no machinery, that sort of thing. But generally every Sunday, digital detox, switch off Sunday. Phones and laptops are the main thing. And we had a beautiful day, beautiful, because it's a family, we make it a family day, special day. And we had a beautiful day with some friends, and we came home. We were very tired. Didn't really, because we slept a lot on Saturday night. Didn't really make sense. And then it became clear as to why we were feeling really tired. Because so every evening we follow the law, LAW. We do a little gratitude practice, and I was given this acronym LAW. So follow the law every day, and that is at 144. And that's, so we share something that we've learned or something that we love, something that we appreciate, and something that, look at these little thumbs up appearing. Something we learned or love, something we appreciate, and the W is for a win, a win for that day, something we've learned, something we've achieved, something that we had a breakthrough, something positive, something to appreciate, and maybe something we've overcome, something we've realized, all of the above. And so we're doing the practice, and just as that, the three of us were doing the practice, and then out of nowhere, seemingly nowhere, Elise, my beautiful soul partner, was just spontaneously taken into a traumatic experience, triggered by just something so simple, where she remembered an experience, and then so she was spontaneously taken into a process where she would, she got the vision, she was like transported to this vision, and then she was in a process of transmuting it, transcending it, and it's very beautiful. And we were just watching. I mean, we're used to this sort of thing, but it's still, when it happens spontaneously without any obvious trigger, it's quite crazy. So we're just sitting, holding space, myself and my son, and so Elise got into this like mantra, like a mantra started coming through. It was actually the Maha mantra was coming through, and that was moving through this experience, and then shaking the body and all sorts of things. And it lasted quite a little bit of time. And as we were holding space, I was just completely feeling a little bit tired, but completely just as we are normally, naturally. And so she went through the process, took some time, and so she gets through the process, and then we wait to see some tears, sacred tears, and then so she said what happened. Something very simple and seemingly like absolute, something happened as we were doing that sparked this vision, this memory of something when she was very young, pre-verbal. And so that was fine, what happened. And she moved through it, and she felt good. And I'm like, okay, we'll get back into our our daily gratitude practice. And then again, so if this has happened to us, I'm sure others. So this was 31st of March, because we go through these things, and usually, either we go through it first and then it's coming for people, or we're going through it at the same time. So I'd be interested to hear in the comments, if you watch this, what was your experience on the evening of 31st of March, depending on time zone, of course. And then so spontaneously, So I was feeling fine, nothing going on, only feeling a little bit tired, and then I was just spontaneous again, no trigger, even what at least shared was no trigger, didn't touch me. I was just holding space, felt fine, and then I was just taken into a spontaneous process instantly. Then once she'd finished, it was like we were taking our shifts, literally taking our shift up a level. Then I was spontaneously taken into a process, and mine's was very multidimensional. So I was but of course, but earthly, but multidimensional in the way I went through and experienced and felt so many deaths of this body. I've had this before, but this was very visceral and very real. I could feel what happened. And so each time these deaths were violent deaths. So it was how this soul being, this body being, died on earth many times through violent deaths. So everything, every sort of way that you can imagine a violent death happening, I experienced it. Sat in our little tiny home doing a beautiful gratitude practice with two beautiful beings in a serene, beautiful state. I start experiencing all of these lifetimes where the body being was ended with violent deaths. And it was crazy. It was really crazy. I mean, again, I'm used to it, but it was crazy how it just happened spontaneously without anything seemingly to trigger it, other than we know now, of course, it's the energy. The energy triggers it. And so each of these violent deaths that the body being experienced would just happen one after the other. And I would, when I was, when it wasn't just a vision, I would feel the hanging. I would experience, like, feel the constriction, feel the tightness. But what happens is you feel it. Again, this is what my experience before and now. It's felt, but there's no fear. There's no, there's a little bit of like, I don't do it now, but when you would watch movies as a child that maybe have violence, or horror movies or something like that, it was like watching one of those movies, except you were getting to feel it as well. But the difference was there was no fear, there was no terror, there was no like, oh, this is horrible or bad. It was just like, I get to experience it, get to feel it, and get to experience it in neutrality. Even when there's a constriction, again, it's quite hard to explain, but I experienced multiple deaths of this body being, all through violent deaths. And so this process went on, and there was more and more. I was like, oh my God, how many are we going to experience? And it's fine. But what I realized each time, I was able to experience each of these violent deaths and be in complete neutrality and be in complete peace, and just experience and just notice it and just watch it. And when you're watching it and experiencing it, even again, there was like tightness and feeling of, I would say, mild discomfort, as I'm going to say. It wasn't like horrendous pain or anything, but I was able to witness them, feel mild discomfort of these things when you're right in the body. And what I was shown was that each of these violent deaths, behind those things, so basically I was to experience them in neutrality, which I've done many times before, but it was also to see what was behind these violent deaths. And it was shown each time as like this energy, this influence that separates. It goes by many names, and we're not going to give it any name, but this energy that influences humans to do harm to other humans. There is an energy that influences, and again, I'm not going to give it a name, but it was seen that there was like humans playing out this drama, these roles of ending lives, but there was an energy behind that that was influencing that. And so what it was teaching me, again, in a visceral way, to get experience, was to like, what we think of as death. We think it's really, even violent death, we think it's like a really bad thing, a horrible thing. And actually, I was experiencing it in complete neutrality. Even the most horrible things that you can imagine, horror movie type stuff. I was experiencing it to this body being over and over again, and it was experienced in neutrality, and it was just like bringing love. And even though there was this sense that there's this energy, these, you could call it entities or beings, it's just called energy. It's one aspect of energy. Oh, we're getting some, because the hour changed in the northern hemisphere. I'm an hour before sunrise. We're starting to see some signs of light, so if it works, I might go outside if we get some light during this video. I had to put the light on in the car, but I was able to experience violent deaths of this body being with physical, visceral experiences with neutrality and bringing love, and actually bringing love and gratitude for that experience. Now, this might sound really strange. If you've never had this experience, it might sound weird or crazy, and that's okay. I get it. But it was like there was gratitude for that experience of violent death, gratitude of this experience, that two humans get to play out this experience and being able to see it in neutral. It's like kind of like life review, but still in the body. I've had this many times as well. I mean, I feel like in this one life, I feel like I've died so many times. It's unbelievable now. My feline lives are running out. So, but it was to experience violent death of the body with what would be fearful generally and what would be very uncomfortable, in total neutrality and love and gratitude. And so it really taught me again to release judgment of everything. Let go of judgment of everything, especially the things that everybody in this duality, reality, polarity experiment, everyone would agree with you that this is wrong or this is bad. When you get to experience this from a point of neutrality, there's no judgment of wrong or right or good or bad. There's just love, even in the face of what pretty much every human on the planet and all sort of sane ideas would say this is horrible. You experience death, violent death, and you're experiencing the what it feels like for that to happen. And yet there's neutrality, there's love, there's gratitude. And it's like unconditional love. It's unconditional love, but there's a feeling of gratitude to get to experience that. It's really hard to put into words to describe this, and I know it'll sound strange, I know it'll sound a little bit crazy, but there was really a sense of gratitude and a sense of unconditional love, even in the face. Like, unconditional love is unconditional love. The second there's a condition placed upon it, it's not love. So unconditional love unconditionally loves what we as humans would, feel near impossible. As a human, near impossible to bring love to something like this. Yet it was there. And I'm just sat. Again, this is not like some sort of mastery thing. This is happening spontaneously. It's not something that I'm choosing. It's not something I think, oh, this would be a cool experience. No, this happens spontaneously without any trigger. Again, it happens after Elise has something, so the energy is bringing it. And it's what has death taught me here. I've had this thing so many times, but this one really got to the point. I've had it before where these entities, beings are coming and they're just doing every horrible, heinous, dark, oh shit. Hopefully my car battery isn't. Okay, I think it should be okay. Okay, we're going to stay really in the dark. As soon as you mentioned entity, look at that. That's every time. So I'm sat in the car, that light on. So my car battery may be dead as soon as we mention these beautiful entities and beings. So let's just keep it with energy at 1444. And I've completely lost track. So wherever I was going, I would like to find my way back there because it's important. So what was I saying? entities, beings. Yes, okay. Yes, that's why they weren't happy. So I've had these experiences before where they're coming and doing their absolute worst, the most terrifying things, the most heinous things that you can imagine, and like think the worst horror movie you could ever imagine, but just put it on like steroids on steroids that you just can't even imagine the horribleness from the human perspective. And I would experience this, and again, I would experience it in my body being. I would experience the body. I would experience the pains, and I would experience again these experiences before. This is why it's different this time. I would experience like just laughing at these things that were coming to do this. Like just absolutely just laughing at their insignificance while they're cutting this body into pieces, let's say, just just as an example. I would just be in like laughter and just like you would just laugh at a naughty child when they're doing all this like crazy stuff and all this threatening stuff and all this fear type things. And I would just be in absolute laughter and just giggling. And the worse it would, the more ridiculous it would be. The worse that it would appear, the more kind of pain or whatever it would feel, the more silly and childish. And again, this is going to sound absolutely mental to most people unless you've experienced something like this. But it was like the more crazy and horrible and dark and fearful as we would judge it, the funnier it was and the more insignificant it was. It was just so insignificant, and I was just laughing. And there was a part of that, again, this is why this is an evolution in what death taught me. There was a part of that that was like a spiritual ego for Martin. It's not really Martin, but let's just use it. There was a spiritual ego part of this, is like, I'm so powerful, you can do all this stuff and I'm just going to laugh at you. So there was a subtle, it definitely wasn't unconditional love. It was just like, you can do all this stuff and it doesn't mean anything to me and I'm just going to laugh. It's just hilarious. Look at you. You're so powerless. You're so weak. All you can do is try and threaten this body, or you can cut this body up, or you can threaten something that is dear to me. You can try and threaten, and it would just be laughter. But there definitely was, I remember it, I remember clearly when these things would happen, there's a subtle ego, or like kind of a, you can't hurt me, you can't, and I'm just going to laugh at it. So it wasn't unconditional love, it was like a spiritual ego. Like, it was true, it couldn't harm, it didn't matter what it, like there was just no fear, it didn't matter what it does. And again, the more ridiculous and hurtful, harmful on the human level it became, the more funny it became. It was like, this is all you've got, that's it, that's all you could do. Again, we're talking about energy. It's like, this is it, that's it, all you can do is cut this body up in pieces or whatever, all these sort of things. And it was just like, okay, yeah, go ahead, do whatever you got to do. And I would just be laughing. But the difference in this one was, there wasn't that subtle spiritual ego. There wasn't that little boy wanting to prove himself as a tough spiritual being or something along those lines. I don't know how to describe it. There was just pure love. There was just love. There was gratitude. There was appreciation for the same things happening. And so death really taught me this time that this, like, unconditional love is unconditional love. Unconditional love is thrown around so much in these circles, but really, when you get to it, most people, they're not talking about unconditional love. They're talking about unconditional love in the most fluffy, beautiful way that is unconditionally loving of all of the beautiful things, and might let a little bit of some darkness or challenging in, but there's certain places where unconditional love would never go. But that is conditional love. Unconditional love is all encompassing, all embracing. It is everything. Unconditional love is the source of everything, even and especially those things that we would never label or call unconditional love. So this is what death really taught me this time, is like the unconditionality of love. is truly unconditional, especially with those things that you just would never, no one in their sane mind would call unconditional love, or would, you know, it's easy to love the beauty. It's easy to love. It's easy to love someone or something that does something what we call wrong and then repents, let's say. It's easy, unconditional love can forgive, but as long as they say sorry, this Christian idea of forgiveness and that sort of thing. But if someone or something is doing something that we see as a heinous, horrendous, violent, horrible thing, unconditional love can't love that unless it repents and says it's sorry and sees its way, sees the error of its ways. But unconditional love doesn't say that. Unconditional love loves unconditionally. Everything, no matter what. No matter if it feels repentance or sorry or is asking for forgiveness. No, unconditional love is the source of everything. Unconditional love allows everything, not in a way like allowing or disallowing. This is like the question that challenges most people when we get to this. How could a God of love allow things to happen? I don't mean in allowing, like, so I'll allow this and I'll allow this, but this one I'll not allow. It's just a complete open field of potential without restriction, without limitation. It's unconditional. It doesn't have any condition. So again, that old religious idea of a God that lets something happen or does something, does something or doesn't do something. It's not that. It's just absolute alliance, absolute open potential that either is expressed and experienced in its totality by humanity, or it's conditionally accepted, like, oh, I can take it up to a certain point. And again, the consciousness of each individual portion of this whole, it by definition has limitations. We're talking about the dream of the separate self, and the consciousness will only allow what the consciousness allows. Like, I'm amazed by how much the consciousness of Martin was able to block out, and still what it is able to filter is just incredible. It's really crazy. Like songs and stuff that I had from my past that I like, the words are there and I didn't hear the words, and how things can appear to other people and I don't see them, or how things can appear and I can see them and others can. Like, it's just amazing the degree to which it's unlimited, how much consciousness can show to an individual or hide to an individual. That's where there is conditional, this dreamed experience of the separate self, and the degree to which the consciousness is allowed to open to its fullness, which is in potential in every single being. It is its source. Will be the degree to which we allow, or it's not conscious for most of us. The degree of consciousness will determine how much of this unconditionality will be able to be experienced in a lifetime. But whenever you face death continuously, like, honestly, it's been so many times, I don't know, I've lost count now. I've experienced death continuously. It's a continuous death and rebirth cycle, continuous over and over again, death and rebirth, death and rebirth. And each time it's teaching something new and deeper. And this really feels like a much deeper understanding where that little spiritual ego, I'm so tough, I'm so spiritual, or I'm so whatever, I can experience all these ways in which these beings or entities, again, energy, appear, cut me up, doing all sorts of things, whatever it is, and I'm just laughing at it. That subtle spiritual ego has fallen away. I mean, the cheekiness will definitely not fall away. That's part of the being. But the experience of this and just like loving what really would pretty much everyone would agree is unlovable. violent, violently ending a physical body being. So there was just love, there was just gratitude. And so I was just taken through this process, it would just like happen one after the other, one after the other. Total neutrality, total love. And again, I cannot tell you how this happens or why this happens, how it happens and the way it happens. I don't know any of that. I just know I experience it. And I'm experiencing it in total neutrality and full like transparency. Whenever, if I'm in a literal physical, I've shared before here, a literal physical inhuman body right here, right now, confrontation, I am the complete opposite. I can go into massive fear or massive reaction. So just get it clear. This is happening in vision. I am feeling and experiencing, but it's not like a literal. It is literally experienced, but it's not like Martin in this body, this timeline, experienced it right here as a physical confrontation, because that is a huge challenge that I'm still working through. But this time I was able to experience all of these, feel the challenges and the pains of it. Again, I wasn't feeling the fear, but you would assume that there should be, and it was in complete neutrality and complete love and gratitude. Those things do not seem to compute, but that's what happened. So anyway, taken through it, I don't know how many times, so many lifetimes where it appeared, all the same, and then just came out the other side. For me, it was very like just inner process. There was no process. There's nothing I had to do. It was just experience these deaths in neutrality, in love, and come to gratitude. So then I come out. And I come out of this experience just like heart wide open. Like, again, we're just sat doing this gratitude practice like we do every day, following the law, following the universal law, the sacred law. And then I come out of this process and my heart is wide open. And I talk about this a lot. One of the most challenging things, so it might sound like those things would be challenging, experiencing your multiple violent deaths of a body. One of the most challenging things for a human is to live completely with the heart open. If you've ever experienced these like massive, expanded heart opening experiences, to experience the world with this wide open heart is one of the most challenging things we can ever do. Because when you're you're in this just complete wide open heart, there's no hiding, there's no little coping mechanisms, there's no that little filter where you close, open. No, it's like wide open. And I'm this wide open space, and it's so beautiful, and everything's amazing. And then we do the process, we do the practice, and then I'm just still in this wide open, like we're all in this, like, I mean, other things happen that I'm not even going to share about because it's so crazy between the three of us. Beautiful and amazing, and we had to record some stuff. Everything happened. So in this wide open, heart open space, and then a tiny, tiny, tiny thing happened in this wide open space, and then something happens, and then whoosh, the heart goes back, like a tiny little trigger from human experience, and then whoosh, the heart closes again, goes into defense, goes into fear, goes into reaction. So it's just amazing, this human experience. Like you can go for this living with your heart wide open. For this one, maybe you can share some, maybe it's different for you watching this video. That is one of the most challenging things to do in this human reality, because as I say, everything in this reality is set up to challenge an fully open-hearted being. And again, the thing that kind of closed up the heart was so, if you were I'm not even going to tell a story because it's so insignificant, seemingly on the outside, but yet the heart closes. So I've got a little bit of light, so I'm going to see if I can walk a wee bit, see how it is to take a wee walk, because we're near the beach in a different place. Because I had to drive farther today. We got a half moon, just so we would have some light. And yeah, so living open-heartedly. For this one is one of the biggest challenges, and it's amazing how small of a human experience, seemingly insignificant on the surface, can just instantly trigger from this open-hearted, amazing, beautiful space into closed space. So then, this is very late at night as well. This is why I've only had 3 hours. I didn't even know if I've had 3 hours sleep. Barely 3 hours sleep. Um, so then I had to go into another process. And all the stuff that was coming up was, what was it? Let's see if I can remember. There was, again, none of these things seem to correlate to what happened, but there was jealousy, resentment, fear. What else was there? There's something else. Jealousy, resentment, fear. There's definitely something else and I can't remember, so that's probably another one I still have to work on. So then I go from this absolute like wide open space into this triggered space and having to sit and just really love the parts that feel resentment, feel the parts that feel jealousy, the parts that feel rejection. That was it. That was the big one. Of course it was the big one. So it was feeling rejected and feeling resentment to being rejected, and then feeling fear and wanting closing of the heart, and then like the defense. That beautiful sky. My God, actually, for the first time ever, I don't know how, it actually looks better on the screen than it does in real life. See, everything's back to front. How many times on here I say the eyes can never, or what's on the screen can never compare to what you see with the eyes. And actually, this crazy time, the light is so good on this camera that it looks better. So, just wanted to share what death taught me this time. A little bit on the beach here because it's so beautiful and it's not so loud. So yeah, death taught me really this time unconditional love is truly unconditional love. If it's anything other than that, it's not. It's conditional love, and that recognizing again that the most challenging thing for this one, I made a blanket statement there again, but for this one, living with a total open heart is the most challenging thing on earth. Because we think, oh, I want to open my heart, and then everything will be fine. It's true, but if you are blasted into a completely open heart, there is no hiding. There's no little places, anything. A completely open heart it's just pure rawness. It's pure beauty. And again, that's how you're able to see that love sees the beauty in everything. Love doesn't judge. Unconditional love is unconditional love. But living that, so you get to experience that, it's amazing. It's amazing to feel what that feels like, to be in this total open-hearted space. It looks amazing. Hope that's coming across as cool as it looks on there. And it's so funny because it looks nice. But it looks so much. This camera's picking up so much more colors. Looks like something that's rising out of the horizon there. Beautiful colors. Got this huge big beach to myself because of course I've been up at crazy o'clock and no one else would be awake at this time. But because the hours changed, it's really ahead. But yeah, just to share, I just document these experiences and don't leave out step back. Martin was going into judgment there. It would be so easy to come on here and just share the amazing, beautiful parts of that story, because there's way more beautiful things that I haven't shared. It'd be so easy to say, wow, we had this incredible multidimensional experience and spontaneous trauma transcendence, and like share all the beautiful things and leave out all the yucky things. Leave out all the rejection, leave out the whatever those other things were that I can't remember now. Rejection and pushing away, whatever it was, all those ones. Getting ringing in my left ear. It's so easy to do that, but that's not the way it's experienced for this one. Maybe there are some people who just have experienced this little fish, tiny little fish that has transitioned. I can't get it on the screen. What I like to share, I don't like to. It's just the way it is. I'm going to share everything. There's no Instagram spirituality here. I'm going to share it all. I'm going to share the beautiful things and amazing things, and I'm going to share the jealousy, I swear it's crazy. I can't remember what those things, but I shared it on the video. The things that come up when I was in just this absolute wide open heart space and feeling like so open. It's again, and also it's a lesson to where the consciousness is. The degree to how much you can live in this absolute heart open space is the degree where the consciousness is. So it was seen clearly how where the level of consciousness is at this point, as in living completely 100% heart. Like, I don't know how many people, I don't know how long I've experienced. I do remember back in 2015 experiencing, it felt like weeks, where I was in this state of absolute love and ecstasy, where I would literally look at a tree and I was falling in love with the tree. And that did happen for an extended period, and that it felt like there was nothing contracted that for some time until it did. But that was sparked by something, and it wasn't lasting. You know, it was temporary. What we're moving to here is to come into this absolute full, totally raw, vulnerable, completely accepting, heart open place continuously. That's where we are, but it's not what our bodies experience. That's who we are, but it's not what our bodies experience. Let's see if we can get this. Beautiful. I want to show that. I wish I was walking the other way so I could look at that. But, so yeah, that's what death taught me this time. Multiple experiences of multiple violent deaths of this body, experiencing it with neutrality, experiencing it with love, and experiencing it with gratitude, feeling the experience of like just this after experiencing all of those, feeling this state of just absolute open-heartedness, complete open-heartedness, and a tiny small thing in this human reality, triggering that, and then heart closes, and to see what that brought up. Resentment, rejection, sadness, fear, loneliness, all of these things. And to go from that to that, that's what Earth is all about. That's the biggest challenge and the biggest thing. Why is it like that? That's what Earth is about. The ability to get to experience yourself in this incredible heart opening, just nothing can touch this, nothing can touch this, just absolute open-hearted, unconditional love, and then go in the next second to rejection, to loneliness, to fear, to reaction. That's what Earth's about. That's what Playground Earth is about. And so bringing gratitude and acceptance and love to that is the lesson for this one, and not always reaching. This is where addictions come from, reaching for a something, which is body being experienced. And it's like bringing gratitude, acceptance, and love to these experiences. Wild polarity swings in a short space of time. It's just amazing. If you're watching live, you guys know the sound is okay and the sea is not too loud. I can just see a comment there. Good morning, Katrina. Is the sound still okay? The light is coming. The sun is appearing somewhere over here. We're facing east, I know. But yeah, what a incredible experience. Challenging experience. Beautiful experience. Shocking experience in some ways to experience these things. Shocking to the little me. But also just amazing. This is what it's about. And many times we forget. Many times we're looking for this an ideal of how things should be, and you know, this reality, what is this, something else been washed up here, don't know what that is. uh, this ideal of how it should be, and it's never that way. It is the way it is. It's just, it is what it is. And the more we can accept that and allow that, the greater degree of peace we can have. So again, real lessons in that is really seeing where the body memory, that this body being the somatic experiences in the body, there's still a lot of work there of remembering for this body to come through and meet these experiences in more of the way that there's such an ease experiencing it from the broader perspective, and to really have gratitude and really seeing the things again mightn't be as dramatic, the little things, bringing gratitude. What is this? Hope we're going to find some funny what is that? I don't know. Bringing gratitude to the things that seem to be impossible to be grateful for. That's another lesson from this. Because when I was experiencing those things, it was like really there was just gratitude. Like gratitude for the thing that no one's going to say, oh, thank you for that. No, there was, again, it wasn't an individual thinking, oh, thank you for doing it. It was just, there's just gratitude is the only response to everything. And we can bring that more to our conscious waking experience. What we appreciates will begin. It's the love, the unconditional love of all experience. It means that the love that we are, doesn't judge, doesn't delineate, doesn't. Love doesn't know good and evil. Love doesn't know bad and good. Love is just the source of everything. It is who we are, and every experience that we judge as good or bad or positive or negative are just judgments that we make in a relative reality to conditioned love. And this is a step, and it's a jump, and it's like a quantum leap for humanity. For this one, of course, because everybody, as much as you who hear this, but it is experienced. It's experienced as real and possible. And then heart closes again. But it's showing the potentials. It's showing the possibility. I think I'm going to turn and come back this way, and then we can watch this beautiful sky behind. Oh, now it's whited itself out. Oh no, there you go. Look at the colors. That is so amazing. How is this camera going to see things better than the eyes today? That is really backward. But okay, that's today. So I've always talked about, you know, you see something with your eyes and then you take a picture of it, even the best quality pictures is never close to what appears. And now this is like showing beautiful colours that the eyes are not seeing. Anyway, maybe it's some effect on here that just happens. Or maybe it's saying, don't stay held to what is true or what is possible. Don't fix your idea. Don't limit the limitless. God can show up on a phone as it can show up in a meditation or a spiritual group. God is. Wow, this picture looks so amazing. Does this picture look as amazing to you, or am I just seeing through, like, what do they call? Rose tinted glasses? This is like so amazing. The colors. I mean, I am walking on a beach at crazy o'clock. It's pretty beautiful. It just looks extra beautiful. So maybe I am seeing with new eyes. I don't know. Please put in the comments. It's not just this one. So yeah, that's what Death taught me this time. Thank you, Death. Thank you, Death, for this beautiful gift again. And look forward to see. Of course, Martin's got a lot of work to do. This again, this beautiful experience, incredible experience, has shown where there is work, where there is. I can see gold. Yes, so that's what it looks like to me. That's what's showing up here is gold, but I don't see that when I look. I only see it on here. So that's, it must be an effect on the phone, but it's one beautiful effect. So thank you, God. So yeah, it's showing where there is still work to live open-heartedly, to see the beauty in all life, to it was a process. It was amazing. Whenever I was feeling that rejection and all these things that feel really challenging, it was like I had to consciously feel rejection and then just open your heart and just sit in the discomfort for the human of feeling rejection, sadness, loss, whatever it happened to be. Insert human experience here and just be wide open. And so I had to consciously do that because once the heart closes, then you have to make a conscious decision to open it again. And trauma and all of our conditioning, the heart closes as a response to feel like to protect itself. And so I had to sit late at night after this beautiful experience and consciously feel rejection. Okay, open the heart, sit in the discomfort of feeling rejection or loss or sadness, whatever it happens to be, and just be open-hearted and sin. So I went through that process with each of them, but there's still perfect amount of work to do to be, and simultaneously there's none. This is just the experience. This is just what Playground Earth offers us, and we get to experience these wild swings, wild polarities, and that's what it's all about. Okay, I gotta go pee. Thank you for joining this little live document of what Death taught me this time. Please put in the comments of what this has brought for you, if anything, and look forward to the second live, or maybe there'll be another one, who knows. Today at 3:33 we'll be back. We're into a new month of April, and we shall continue this journey, documenting this craziness at crazy o'clock sometimes. I love you all so much. Until next time, from my heart to yours, the divine in me sees, loves, and honors the divine in you. Namaste. We are. Ciao!